Hello, everyone, and welcome to our Mental Health Impact Series show, Season 2 and Episode 8. Today, we have a very important guest with us to shed light on some challenges that mothers go through and talk about their mental health challenges, talk about the stigma associated, and what can we do collectively to help our mothers across the world. Lubna Khan, the one and only, such an awesome person. I'm so excited to have you on our show. She's one of my dearest friends and an entrepreneur. And without any further ado, I'm just going to have Lubna introduce herself. Please go ahead, Lubna.
Hi, Aanchal. Thank you so much for the wonderful description about myself. So happy to be here. I'm so glad to finally come on here and share the issues that surround women, especially when women are postpartum, what they go through after having babies, before having babies, during their pregnancy, even after marriage, the problems a lot of women face, going back into work and juggling the whole family versus work versus your career and your dreams, and how that kind of shatters and, and then you have to rebuild it, the strength it takes from you. And everything that comes along with it. I want to touch on those topics. I want to share my journey. Obviously, we went to university together, went to work here, and then I got married, moved to Pakistan from Canada. I started my own business over there based on nutrition. That was and is my passion always. Had my own weight loss journey, and that whole struggle that I dealt with as well. So I decided to help people with those issues. After that, I had a baby. And that's when I learned, whoa, there is a whole new world out here that, I didn't know about. I used to push my clients so much that you can do this. Come on, get up. It's okay. But it's actually not. It's okay to take your time. And sometimes it takes time to get to that weight loss journey or rebuild your career and all of that. And once I went through it, I was able to tap into a whole new market. And I realized that there's so much less awareness about what women go through and so much pressure on girls, on women about how they should look and what they should be like and how they should perform in front of the world, that we often forget that, hey, there's mental disorders that women and girls go through because of this. Postpartum depression is not a joke. It does exist. Baby blues is not funny. Mommy brain is not funny. It happens. It's real. I have been through some of it, and I have seen people go through it. And I want to use your platform, Aanchal, to let women know out here that they're not alone. They're not crazy. This is real. It happens. And together we can get through it. And as women who have not gone through it, it's still important for us to educate ourselves, our sons, our daughters, our partners, our parents about it, so that if they see someone going through these things, having these symptoms, they can, get them help. You can get them professional help. You can get them therapy. You can talk to them and you can offer help. So many different things I want to talk about today. I hope we get time to kind of highlight on all of that.
Yeah, absolutely, we can. I just want to first of all tell everyone in the audience that when I met Lubna back in the day, I don't know, it's probably been 10 years now?
Yeah, it's been a decade, girl.
Decade. I just want to say, Lubna, it's such an honor and a privilege to see you bloom as a friend, as a person who's in this space. You embody everything that I believe in. I just wanted to let you know you are the change the world needs. You've always been such a strong person. And the fact that you are out here today, after your experiences, and now you're I want to raise awareness for other women out there, for other men, for other fathers, other families, is really remarkable. So before we get started today, I just want to take the time and acknowledge you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
And before we get ahead, could you tell the audience a little bit about your professional background? What do you currently do? Let's talk about the business that you mentioned earlier. And today, what is the second business that you're into?
Yeah. So I started my own business about nutrition. I was making meal plans for people, making fitness plans, workout plans for people, and I used to do a very holistic and customized approach. It wasn't just a one size fits all, because I soon realized that I myself, when I had gained a lot of weight back in university, eating out all the time and, not being active. There were a lot of different factors that led to my weight gain. And I used to try all these diets and diet crashes and oh, leave this, leave that, don't do this, or work out like a crazy maniac, or run this many miles and you'll lose weight. Well, none of it was working for me. And that's when I realized that there's just so many different things that apply and variables for different people. For somebody, it may be lack of sleep. For me, it was poor sleep. It breaks your brain apart. It makes you your hormones are everywhere, makes you gain weight. That was one of my factors, just giving an example. And
yeah.
There's just so many different things out there that, people need to find out about themselves and learn their body language. What is your body telling you? Where is your nutrition lacking? So I learned that. And from that, I decided to, get a diploma in that as well from Humber College after my degree. I went to school for another year, got my diploma from Humber for fitness, nutrition, and leadership. And from that, I really learned what the human body is, what the anatomy of our whole body is, and from there, I went on to self-research, and that's where I decided that, hey, I really want to help people, not just women, but men also out there, and learn about their bodies and, lose weight or gain weight, in the healthiest way possible. It's not always about, oh, I want to be 120 pounds. It's about being fit, being healthy, being more happy, being able to concentrate, being better at performing everyday tasks is what your goal should be, not about looking a certain way. And that's what I try to apply to my practice. And I've been doing that for about 4 years now. So I do offer that as my business as well. That was, I continued that after my first baby. Then I had my second baby, and I was like, okay, I really want to tap into something new. I want to challenge myself. And the whole pandemic was here. It was so hard to see people in real life. And I was like, okay, what can I do? I really want to rebuild myself. I want to challenge myself. And it's something I've never done before. So I started my second business, and I call it ZedApparel, and Zed because both of my sons, their names start with the letter Z. So that's where the Z comes from. And I make, customized apparel. I make little embroideries for people. I customize their sweatshirts, their t-shirts. I'll do print on it, and then I sell those. So, I have lines for mamas. So there's a mama sweater, or I need coffee, because you always need coffee in life. And then there's a bunch of collections out there. I'm currently working on my website right now, and launching. There's so much more to come. So that's what I'm working on these days. So juggling everything with mom life is what I'm doing.
That's remarkable, given the topic of today and how you're still out here trying to create social impact through these businesses and help people at the end of the day. It speaks volumes for who you are and your character, Lubna.
Thank you.
So let's talk about postpartum depression. What is it? Could you take some time to just explain it to the audience that may not know what it is?
So, Aanchal, there's so many things about postpartum depression that are myths, and people don't really know what it is, and they often get it confused with baby blues or the mommy brain. These are actual terms, and people just don't understand that they're real. Did you know that 1 in 7 women actually struggle with anxiety and postpartum depression? That's a large number. They don't know what to do with it. They're often just characterized as crazy by their families or their partners, and they're just left alone to deal with it. There's women who commit suicide from postpartum depression, left undiagnosed because of the lack of awareness in their families and themselves. They don't know what to do, who to talk to. There's just so much, unawareness when it comes to this topic. Postpartum, the hormone drop is considered the single largest sudden hormone change in the shortest amount of time in a human body. So when you give birth, those hormones that are lost in your body, that's it's magical, yes, but it's in the shortest time, you lose so much from your body. And of course, that's going to cause a lot of hormonal shifts. That's going to cause mommy brain. And everybody experiences this to some degree. Being less sharp or having short-term memory, walking into a room and being like, oh, what did I come here for? Forgetting a thought mid-thought. There's so many different, factors that why this happens. So postpartum depression in itself is something more severe. It's something that needs to be treated, medically or therapeutically. it needs to be treated, something that's not going to go away by itself. Baby blues is just something, in the early stages of giving birth, you're not bonding with your baby. You're just, you're having a lot of emotions everywhere. That's called baby blues. Mommy brain is just, like you're being left sharp. And scientifically, it's shown that after having a baby, the women's brain, it's just, it's beautiful because it's functioned this way. And not putting negative light on it, I'll tell you what's positive about it too. There are parts of our brain that slow down. So things like where did you park your car, or ability to memorize something, that goes away. But it doesn't go away, sorry, it slows down for the time being. But what lights up is empathy, emotion, like emotional connection. That part becomes so active. That's where the mother nature plays a huge role in the mothers being so protective of their children and animals and humans and everywhere in the world, is because that part of your brain is so active, right? And that's what I want to touch on today, because society makes women feel like they messed up if they don't have it all together. Because if they're not happy after having this joyous moment, this blessing that God has given us, they're looked down upon. Like, what are you talking about? You're supposed to be happy. You're blessed with a child. Don't complain.
Yeah.
We're not complaining. We're just telling you we're tired. We're exhausted. It's okay to be tired. It's okay to be exhausted. It's okay to lose your cool. Yeah. So what if you did? You're also a human being. But even if you notice right after we give birth, everybody's so engrossed in the baby and how beautiful the baby is. How's the baby doing? Nobody asked that, hey, how are you doing? How are you feeling? What can I help you with? And that's where us as a society need to be so aware of, being a tribal, partner of those women that give birth. We need to be a big tribe. The community needs to play a big role here. So our friends, our family, our cousins, our sisters, our brothers, whoever is having a kid, I always say check in those people, especially during this day of the whole COVID-19. There's so much isolation, and this is not how it was meant to be. No. This is not how it was supposed to be. So maybe ordering them takeout, sending them, food, or leaving it at their door. These are all things, because I'm telling you, been through it twice now. It's so difficult to make sure that you have food on the table, the house is clean. If you have children, that they're happy, they're not ignored. You really need to have a very understanding partner before you tap into this new life. And I often feel like this is something that, partners don't talk about. They just be like, oh, we're supposed to have babies now, so let's have babies. But there's so many issues that come with it. And, women go through postpartum depression, but men also go through so many things. They feel ignored. They feel like they don't know what to do. And that's because our mothers or, our ancestors have not been aware of postpartum depression. They're not aware of how to help us women that go through these things, right? So there's lifestyle plays such a huge role. And some people may have it easy, like they are walking down the street, like la la la, everything is great, back into shape in a snap. But there are people who struggle, and we should be there for those people. We need to understand what happens, and we need to know how to help them, right?
So how do we help them, Lubna?
So see, there's different, definitely, Aanchal, that's an excellent question. And here are something that I'll talk about, and that I just briefly touched upon before you asked me the question, is, look, there are 3 or 4 main things that I want to talk about here that help the mom get through this. And number 1 is sleep. We all know after having the baby wakes up, say, every hour, every 2 hours. You're not going to get much sleep at all. Maybe your partner's helping you and they're not getting much sleep. And we know that one night, bad sleep affects the brain dramatically. Your decision making is horrible. Your concentration goes down just in one night of, one night of bad sleep. And you cannot make up for it 100%. That's why women go through so much emotion, so much things that they don't know how to deal with because they haven't slept properly. So maybe, offering help, like, hey, I'll come over, you go take a nap and I'll take care and watch the baby. You feed the baby and hand them over to me. Being a partner, you can do that too. Being a friend, being a sister, being a mom, you can do the same thing, right? You can help that woman. You can help that woman by giving them an hour of extra sleep. You have no idea how much important this whole, people think like, being a student, we used to have all these all-nighters and all of that. And now I think I'm like, what are we doing? Why are we doing that? Like, it's, and leading, like I said, leading to weight gain, leading to postpartum depression. Sleep is number one. So if you can help somebody gain an extra hour of sleep, that's postpartum, that's the biggest help that you can give them today. The next one is food. Nutrition is so key pre-pregnancy, during pregnancy, and after pregnancy, especially if you're if you're able to breastfeed your baby. And even if you're not, you've lost all of that nutrition in your placenta when you gave birth, right? So it's so important that you take care of your nutrition. So again, having that community around you, your partner and yourself, or planning, when you're about to give birth, having some frozen meals in the fridge, or stocking up on some fruits and vegetables and having those healthy options available for yourself, it's so important. And how can we help women, going through this? Like I said, in this day and age, it's so easy. Like, there's so many apps out there that you can order groceries for people, you can order food for people, or you can cook food for them and leave it outside their door. So these kind of things help out. The best thing you can do is get some groceries delivered to them, some fresh fruit, some fresh vegetables. Like that's what these women need, and some healthy food. What I would really want to touch on here, and what is a main factor, and I'll tell you some of my research on this too, is omega-3 fatty acids. They are so important in this day and age because we're eating so much takeout, so much like outside food, all of this packaged and processed food. There's an imbalance in our body for omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids. What this does is, yes, of course you gain weight, but disease is coming to us sooner. We're more, we're more weaker. We're not recovering as fast as we used to. And that's because there's an imbalance of omega-3 fatty acids, 3, 6, 9. And, I encourage everybody to, after this conversation, in Googling it, looking at the proper research, reading it for yourself, and realizing that we need to supplement ourselves with a good fish oil. Okay. We have to make sure that if we can eat seafood, good fish, not just the white fish that's high in mercury, but good fatty fish like salmon, like trout that's out there. Cook it more often, eat it more often. If you don't eat fish, that's fine. Supplement yourself with a good fish oil, good omega-3, like a capsule. It's so important. It's so funny because research shows that postpartum depression can be lowered if you take fish oils, if you have seafood in your diet, if you have been taking fish oils pre-pregnancy or during pregnancy or after, postpartum, your chances of getting PPD is drastically lower. And not just like, in PPD, there's a research out here. I believe it was in 2002. I'll send you a link if I can after. Prisoners were given, they were supplements, fish oils, with their meals. And when they got out on parole, or when they got out, they were less violent. There's research on children. They perform better if they're given fish oils, if they are supplemented with this omega-3 as well. They perform better. Their conduct at school is better. So it's so important that we educate ourselves that, because there's so much soybean, there's so much, vegetable oil, everything is cooked in that these days, everything you get in a bag of chips and all of that. It's all these hydrogenated, like, soybean vegetable oils. These are all omega-6. So we have so much omega-6 surplus in our body, but omega-3 is like down here, that our whole brain is imbalanced. It causes our brain to break. So, and especially in postpartum women. So imagine you lost everything, and then all of a sudden you're loading on these snacks and bad food and takeout and all of that, and omega-6 is building up, but your omega-3 is down. Of course, your brain's going to be affected. You're not going to perform better. You're not going to be happy. So again, nutrition is so important. If you can get the moms some good fruit and vegetables and good seafood, good organic chicken if possible, that's number one key. And then the last thing I want to touch on this, how can we help people, is being a good community. Call those friends with, children and families that that may be struggling. Offer them help. Tell them that you are there to help them. That's the number one thing that we can do. Like back in the day, thousands of years ago, when women used to give birth, we used to live with the grandfathers, the moms, and, the mother-in-laws, and the sisters and the brothers and the cousin. It was a huge family helping each other. But nowadays, it's not possible to live in those situations, and we just don't, because the world has evolved so much. So it's important that we offer help, that we be a tribe, whether it's your friends, whether it's your sister or brother, whoever it is, ask for help. Learn to say no is very important, because if you can't handle it, then we as women have to learn to say no. And that's what I'll tell my women friends out here, that, if you as a mom, like, it's hard for you to say, I'll give you my example. We were invited to a dinner party when COVID was all like, I'm talking about my first kid, when COVID didn't exist and everything was great. We were invited to a dinner party, and I asked my friend, like, hey, what can I bring for you? I want to help out. They're like, well, bring a fruit salad. And I'm like, oh my God, I can't, it's just too much for me, right? Because I have a baby and everything has to be clean. And then I have to, because it was just too much for me. Learning to say no, it was so hard for me. But like when I told my friend that, hey, I can't, like, tell me something else. Like, how else can I help you? They're like, oh, just drop some drinks. And, I'm like, yes, I can do that. I can, that's easier for me. Thank you so much. That's so important. And, us to be supportive instead of, I thank my friend today that she was more supportive of me bringing the drinks. And, like, hey, what? You can't make a fruit salad? You used to be so good at it. What's wrong now? Like, the fact that she understood, and she supported that, hey, don't worry about it. Do what's easy for you. You want to grab the drinks and then come over, that's fine. Grab some, make some juice, or like, grab some, whatever you're bringing, just whatever's easy. So we need to make sure that if someone is facing those kind of issues, we need to be supportive of that and not be judgmental instead. So being a good community is important as well. So these are the three things that I'll say. This is how we can help the women, that are going through postpartum baby blues, being a mommy brain, or in general, in general, even if you're not going through postpartum depression, it doesn't matter. It's being a mom or being a parent is a very tiring job. It's a full-time, never-ending job. So if you can help those friends or family members of yours, I highly encourage you to do so.
That's so beautiful and so powerful. My friend, I'm so proud of you right now. And we have some comments coming in from the audience. Love this discussion already. Thanks, Lubna, for being here. You are such a strong role model. Lubna, you are so empowering. Thank you for your sharing and sharing your experiences and wisdom so authentically. I second that. You are such a role model. Thank you.
Oh my God.
Lubna, you're setting such an empowering and healthy example for all the future moms. And I agree. I think everything you're saying here, first of all, I didn't know a lot of the science behind experiencing postpartum. And I think you shed light on some really key topics here. One thing that I do want to ask you, Lubna, how was, in your experience, how was the role of the women in your family in helping you through this?
Aanchal, I was extremely lucky that both of my births were in a place where I could be around my own parents. Okay. It was just so important for me that I was close to my mom, because the way you can rely on your mother, there's no other love or joy like that. Like, you can go and attach to mom, like, I can't get up, like, bring me food, and like, yeah, your mom would bring you food. So I was lucky enough to be in Toronto. I was lucky enough to be in my home. I was able to come back from Pakistan and give birth over here in my home country and be around my family. And I think that's what helped my recovery so much. And my recovery was much faster than I expected, because I was around my family, because I was able to take a break. I was able to pause everything that I was working on. And that's how it should be. I'm telling women out here that, you're not supposed to be out and about after 3 days and, setting and looking all glamorous on your third day. No. You have to take at least 2 to 4 weeks to 6 weeks, whatever is the right number for you. Take those weeks to stop, pause everything you're doing. You should not be worrying about making food. You should not be worrying about looking clean, or, all of looking all nice and nice hair all done and making sure everything is great. No, you should focus on yourself and on the baby that you have in your arms. Make a bond with that baby. Make a bond with your own body. Come into terms with what just happened. It's a big thing for the body to go through, right? And in my experience, I was lucky enough to be around my family. My husband was very helpful. My parents were really helpful. both times. I did not have to worry about cooking and all of that. They kind of took care of that together. We were able to live together and, experience this whole thing together. So in my experience, I was very lucky. There are people that are not. So that's why I always say, and that's what I want to shed light upon, is that it's not an easy experience. Like, I cannot imagine coming back from the hospital to an empty home and you're like, oh crap, what now? Like, what do I do now? Like, for the women that are far away from their families, or, in a different city or a further place, like, what do I do now? And that is such a panic. And it breaks my heart that a lot of us go through this, and so whatever you can do to make the person feel not alone, is, so whether it's a phone call, a video call, getting groceries delivered, dropping them off, dropping some food off, is so important. Do whatever you can to help them out. In this day, it's so easy. Like, if you can afford it, maybe hire them some help to get the house cleaned. It'll just be great to get the house deep cleaned once in a while, right? For a woman who has maybe 2 kids and she's struggling and she's just not saying anything. Maybe as a friend, as a gift on Mother's Day or their birthday, you give them a gift card to one of those, services. Yeah. Or get that's something more thoughtful, and we need to really give it more thought on how we can help people. So in my case, I was lucky in a lot of ways, but even then, so there are a lot of baby blues that I went through. There's a lot of mommy brain that I went through. And I want to share this. Coming from a South Asian descent, people don't know what postpartum depression is. When I asked my mom this morning, I'm like, Mama, do you know what postpartum depression is? Her answer was no. And that's where I'm like, man, this conversation with Aanchal today is so important, because we really have to go back and educate our own families. We have to educate, our friends, our community, our ancestors, whether it's your grandma, your mom, or whatever. We have to educate them. Whatever we know, it's so important to shed light upon that, because sometimes when women go through postpartum depression, they just don't know themselves. They think that, oh my God, I'm going crazy. But if we around them know what it is, maybe we can help them. Maybe we can tell them, hey, do you want to talk to your healthcare provider and, maybe get yourself checked? Have you, tried to talk to your family doctor, or have you tried to look into, some kind of help, or talking to somebody about what you're going through? Because it's okay. It's normal for everybody to feel tired and exhausted. But if you're feeling angry and you're crying out of frustration and you can't sleep and you're shaking at night and you have insomnia, you're dizzy, these are all symptoms of pretty serious problems in postpartum depression. So, something is being like dizzy, you're like, oh my God, I think I'm just dizzy because I'm overworked. No, it may be a sign of postpartum depression. Oh my God, like, I'm forgetting everything. I can't sleep at night. My baby's finally sleeping, but I can't sleep myself. That should be a red flag, for the person hearing this as well. So that's where I'm like, it's so important, like, because especially in South Asia, I feel like, India, Pakistan, and all of our countries, women have this like special role that we're supposed to be in, where you're just like the perfect mom and you have it all together. It's everywhere in the world, but I'm coming from South Asian descent, so I see this a lot, and I saw this a lot being in Pakistan in the past 3 to 4 years, that, as a woman, you're supposed to be perfect. How? It's not possible. Nobody is perfect. And then there's this whole, concept about having a great career. What do you mean you can't go back to work? What do you mean you don't want to work? What's a stay-at-home mom? Look at you. You have it so easy. Your partner's working and you're just chilling at home. You're not chilling at home. This is nowhere close to chilling at home.
It's our
and
language.
Yeah,
it's
like
how we've been talking.
so much,
we need to change.
yeah,
We need to
yeah,
change.
it needs to change 100%. We need to be proud of the women that are raising our next generation, that are taking time off from our careers. Like, I left my job, I left everything to, raise this baby. So tomorrow this baby can go out there and maybe change the world. If we don't raise our kids the right way, the world is not going to change. And, I have 2 sons, and my goal, Aanchal, is to make sure that I teach them that women are the strongest creatures in this world, the strongest creatures of God. And we were given this power as a mom, as a friend, as a sister, as a daughter. I was given this power to come out here and say this. We are the strongest creatures God has ever created, and we can endure anything in this world, but we have to, be a good community. We have to spread awareness out here. We have to raise our children the right way. We have to teach our sons to respect women, to teach them to understand, what women go through, the emotion, expectation, the emotional trauma that sometimes women go through after having families and after having kids, after getting married. There's so much reality checks that come into you after that we don't know about. So it's super important that we shed light upon that, understand those, teach your kids about it, so that when they get married, they are able to be better partners. They're better parents than we are today, right?
Beautiful, Lubna. Thank you for everything you've said so far. I know that 30 minutes doesn't do justice to this discussion, so hopefully we can bring you back for our next season. We'd love to continue this conversation, hopefully on different apps like Clubhouse. We have a club there called Club Reach Out Together. If you're not on Clubhouse, we're going to get you on it because it's amazing to continue to talk about certain issues to raise social awareness and help each other. If not, we're going to bring you back again in our next season, like we said, just because this is very important. And I truly believe change doesn't just happen through one conversation.
Yeah.
We need to keep talking about it in different networks and different communities. And today was the first one that I believe the first episode we've held to raise awareness on this topic. So thank you from the bottom of my heart for choosing to be here and for choosing to talk about these really difficult but very, very important topics. Lubna, where can people reach you for people that want to connect with you for either nutrition or your latest apparel business to get some customized outfits, or just to talk to you about postpartum depression?
Mm-hmm. So I do have two Instagram handles. One is at BeFit with Lubna. This one is mainly focused on nutrition and my work. So you can definitely send me a direct message over there if you're interested in, getting a meal plan or talking about what you're going through. I'm very open to, these informational talks. And then my second handle is at ZedApparel.Canada. That's where I sell my apparel, and from which I must say I give my 10% to reach out together as well. So if you can be a part of that, that'd be amazing as well. So these are my two ventures that I do. You can definitely reach out to either one of those.
Beautiful. Thank you, Lubna. Do you know what our logo stands for? Our logo is like literally this. I don't know if you can see it.
It's a heart, right?
It's actually two fists like this put together. Yeah.
Yes.
Do you know what this stands for?
Tell me.
This is, in sign language, this means together.
Wow.
We use the color orange because orange in color healing therapy, it brings out feelings of warmth and happiness. We have a circle around our logo to symbolize the world. And our vision at Reach Out Together is to heal the world together, literally conversation by conversation, community by community. And I truly believe that's exactly what we did here today. We had a discussion, and we're going to continue this conversation in other platforms to heal the world together by spreading awareness, breaking cultural stigma, and encouraging people to go seek professional help and other supports.
100%.
We're truly in this together. So thank you from the bottom of our heart.
Thank you for having me, Aanchal, and thank you so much for having this amazing platform. I've been following you for, since your start, actually, and I must say, I know we're out of time, but thank you so much for having this platform just to raise awareness. And like I said, I think awareness is key. If we know that, hey, this thing is this, and people go through it, and then maybe we can do our own research or, learn more about it through our doctors, through professions, or, just your own research. It's just so important to put this information out there. And Aanchal, you're doing an amazing job, girl, in doing that. I am so proud of you. And I do want to remember our, my dear friend Tashar today, that you have made this foundation for, and I'm so proud of you. I'm sure that he would be so proud of you today, and me, doing this together with you. It touches my heart, and I'm so proud of you. There's not a day where I don't think about him and, our times together that we had in university. I'm so happy, and he would be so proud of you today, Aanchal.
That means so much to me. Thank you. Thank you so much, Lubna. This is not just me alone. It is still Tashar. I believe he's still here. And plus, it's the team behind Reach Out Together Foundation. This work is definitely not easy, but it's one that's needed. It's not about sometimes what is easy to do. It's about what is required to do. And I believe with all my heart here at Reach Out Together Foundation, it's not me, it's the collective that's coming together. It's our ambassadors behind the scene that are helping us run this. You know, we're just showing up. We want to continue to break cultural stigma across the world and encourage outreach. Go reach out for help and support, because what you're experiencing, you know, the other people out there that have experienced it have found ways to recover. And we want you to enjoy life. We want you to feel yourself again. You know, we want you to feel joy in everyday activities. And you can do that. Reach out together.
Reach out for help whenever you need to. It's not bad to reach out for help. And that's 100% same thing. You can be a happy mom. You will be a happy mom, but ask for help. Learn to say, I need help.
I love that. What a brilliant note to end that on. Thank you so much, Lubna. Once again, if you are looking to connect with her further, please go back to this video and find her Instagram handles and connect with her. She is one powerful woman that will not stop, and I know it. And we at Reach Out Together, we're here with you. We're here supporting you. If there's anything we can do to support your initiatives, please let the team know. We're in this together. Thank you once again, Lubna, for sharing your time with us on a Friday.
Thank you.
And we're very excited for the next episode to come next week on Friday. Thank you, everyone, and bye for now.